New York, big city of dreams. New York, big city of dreams.
Woo! What's going on? This is Jay Ellis from the Nick of Time show. Here to give you that Knicks talk just in the nick of time. And it's time to talk about very small news in general, but big news to me and maybe the rest of you Knicks fans and KOT family. Man, did you see the interview with Quentin Grimes? It's very small news. If you didn't know, Knicks are in training camp. They're in Charleston, South Carolina, and SNY interviewed Quentin Grimes. And he revealed something very, very good for us. And here's what he said.
Reddick was one of the best shooters ever in his league. His conditioning was otherworldly and stuff like that. So I was trying to get in the gym with him, learn little things, how he's coming off screen, pin downs. I knew that was going to be some of the plays that were going to be ranked for me this season. So I want to be prepared for whenever I get my number called.
The New York Knicks will be running plays for Quentin Grimes? Finally. I've been wanting this. You guys have been wanting this. Knicks Nation have been wanting this. Listen, we have been clamoring for off-ball movement for the entirety of the Tibbs era. And not only that, we've been wanting plays for Grimes to be drawn up. He's supposed to be our best shooter. Jalen Brunson shot phenomenally last season, but Quentin Grimes, even after a slow start, finished the season shooting 38% from three. And if you look on the cleaning the glass stats, it actually gives him 39% from all three, and really cooked from that corner, shooting 44% from the corner. So for me, as a guy who came into college as a high volume catch and shoot shooter, we needed to get him the ball more, but also in general, we needed to run plays for him because, like you guys said, our offense became very predictable. And even though we had a high offensive rating, it was obvious to me that, Grimes needed the ball a little bit more in his hand to shoot some threes. Now, you know what? I'm gonna give some tips and credit. Maybe he saw these things too and was like, I want to give Grimes shots, but I want to progress to that. I want to progress to the off-ball movement. And you know what? Thibodeau, he started to do a little bit towards the end, but not nearly enough. I looked at the numbers. Grimes is only getting 3.6% of his shots off of screens. So the fact that he's going to get that a little bit higher is going to be phenomenal for these New York Knicks. And the other part of this too is, you know what? We need him to shoot more threes, but we also need him to shoot more threes in the playoffs, even though he shot 39% from three in the regular season. If you look at the playoff numbers from cleaning the glass, he shoots 24% from three in the playoffs. But the crazy part about it is, even though he shot such a low percentage in the playoffs, he was the only player that the Heat actually respected from three. If you look at that game, when Josh Hart was out there, the Heat did not close out on Josh Hart with the same vigor that they closed out on with Quentin Grimes. So now just imagine, fellas, Quentin Grimes actually running off screens and the gravity that's going to create for other Knicks players if he's running off screens and one or two players are following him. Now, guess what? He can either hit that three or his natural playmaking can start to kick in. And because two or three players follow him, now Brunson gets to go to the hole and make playoff ball. Randall gets to go to the hole and make playoff ball. It diversifies our offense. This is a big deal. This is a really big deal. And I'm ecstatic that he's learning from one of the best movement three-point shooters in the NBA. I'm hoping that some of that can rub off on Quentin Grimes. So salute to the Knicks and salute to Quentin Grimes for actually pushing him and pushing the offense in their right direction. I know there's a lot of Tibbs haters out here, but listen, guys, I think this is going to be a great coaching year for Tibbs. This is going to be a really great coaching year for Tibbs. The Knicks are loaded with Tibb type players, guys who play defense, guys who are unselfish. We added another guy in Dante who shoots threes. So I think, and now that Tibbs has the same guys here year after year after year, and they already have a lot of those defensive concepts down packed, he can start to implement more wrinkles in the offense. And I think this is what's going to start to happen, man. I think we might actually start to see a little bit of diversification in the offense. So salute to the Knicks, and I'm excited. I'm excited to have a 50-win type game, at least get to the second round. I'll be very happy with that. But in other news, small news as well, outside of the training camp news, media day just happened, and Tom Thibodeau announced that Quentin Grimes would be the starter for the New York Knicks this season. And that comes to no surprise to me. I know there was a lot of debate on whether Dante DiVincenzo would start or not. But if you know Tom Thibodeau, that's not how he works. Listen, first year when Evan Fournier was starting, I saw then that Quentin Grimes needed to be starting the next season. And last season, when he was going into the season, he announced that Evan Fournier was the starter. So, but at the end of the day, Quentin Grimes took his shot, and now Evan Fournier is on the bench. So just because Quentin Grimes is starting today doesn't mean he still won't be starting later. For me though, I think it's going to be very hard to dethrone him because of his familiarity with the defense. I think he'll end up keeping his starting spot long term because to me, the chemistry between him and Mitch defensively really helped us in pick and roll coverage. He really helped cover up Jalen Brunson's defensive deficiencies. The only thing that I think can threaten that at this point might be Dante's three-point shooting, because that guy can shoot threes, and defensively he's pretty good too. So I can see that threatening Grimes if Grimes doesn't come out to a hot start shooting from three. But I'm not ready. I think Grimes is going to end up still shooting 38% from three for the year, maybe even higher, because he has familiarity with the offense and these players. Now, what's interesting though is the closing lineups will be interesting for the Knicks, because listen, this is the first time where we have the option of having two three-point shooters who both defend start to close games. So closing games might be interesting where we're looking at a combination of Dante with Grimes, or Dante with IQ, or maybe even RJ still ends if he's shooting well from three like he did in the FIBA. But the closing lineup might be something to look after for real, because that's when things get tricky, and that's when minutes start to get cut. Last season is when we start to look at those closing lineups. But for me, I'm excited to see Grimes' progression and him hold down this starting spot, because I really feel like there is more potential with Grimes, with his playmaking, his three-point shooting, and hopefully movement shooting will come into fruition this season. So shout out to Quentin Grimes, and hopefully you have a good season. All right, that is our show. Thank you guys for watching. Yeah, we out of here. Peace.
New York, big city of dreams.